Alright everybody, we have knurled, we have threaded. I have applied the chamfer on the larger diameter and I re-established the chamfer on the end of the threads. That kind of got chewed up after I threaded it. So I just threw the chamfering tool back on and just cleaned that up just a little bit. Now what we need to do is part this off and cut the piece that we need off. Rather than flip this off and face like 3 or 4 inches of material off, we're going to use a parting tool and actually part this off. So if I look at the plans, my finished length on my workpiece is 2.38 inches. So I want to part this off a little more than 2.38 inches so that after I parted it off and now I have a piece by itself, I can flip it and face just a little bit off of the other side to get it to length and then apply that last little chamfer on there. So to do this, we're going to use what's called a parting tool. And this is a parting tool right here, and it's basically just a blade that we're going to feed in at a 90-degree angle to cut off or part off the end of this workpiece. So I've set the compound back to 45 degrees. I'm going to load the tool, and this one, much like the knurling tool and like the threading tool, we need this to be dead on perpendicular. So we're going to go ahead and again turn our tool post so that we're perpendicular. Okay, this might be an operation where you want to go and get a square to kind of help you out. Okay, but I'm going to try my best to get this as close to 90 degrees as I can. Okay, anything that I'm off or any amount that I'm off is going to end up either cutting a dish shape in the bottom of my workpiece or a cone shape. And I don't want that. I want this to be as nice and flat of a cut as I can. So we're at 90. And now the other really important thing on this is we need to have the tip of this cutting tool dead on center. Okay, if I look at this right now, I'm way low on my workpiece here. So I need to raise this up considerably. If the workpiece or the cutter is too low, what's going to happen is it's going to grab on the workpiece, and the workpiece is going to want to pull the cutter underneath, and that's going to cause the insert to break, your tool to break, your workpiece to get damaged. So I'm using the center hole that we drilled on here to kind of help line it up. And I'm going to go ahead and tighten this, and I feel like we'll be ready to go. Okay, lock this and do one more check. Make sure we're good. That looks good. Okay, so we're square and we're right on height-wise. RPM for this operation, we're in aluminum, so it's a little bit softer, so I think we'll go with like a 540 RPM. Okay, the feed on this is going to be with the cross slide, fairly slow. We're going to use oil, okay, when we go ahead and do this operation as well. So now, how do we know where along the length of this we need to cut? Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch off with the left side of the parting tool on the end of my workpiece. Okay, and then I'm going to zero my DRO as soon as I touch it off. Very gently. Okay. So now I know the left side of my tool is even with the end of my workpiece. Now, when we part, we want to have at least 2.38, maybe 2.4 is probably a good spot to part. That leaves us just a few thousandths to face off later. I want to make sure I leave at least this much. In order for me to do that, okay, I have to bring my tool down here, okay, 2.4, but I'm going to notice something when I get there. Okay, there's 2.4. If I do that, that's the left side. If I turn this over here, there's the workpiece in there. That's the left side over here, which means the actual cutting, where the cutter is within the envelope of where I want to work. So I need to account for the thickness of the insert and add that to the distance I move along the length of my workpiece. So I'm going to measure this, and this is just about 90 thousandths. So I want to be at 240-ish. I'm going to add 90 thousandths to that to give me the 2.49. Okay, so I might just go to 2.5 just to be safe and make sure I have enough. Okay, so wheel myself down, 2.5-ish. Okay, again, it's not super critical what number we hit. We just want to make sure that we don't cut, we cut enough away. All right, so that's where I'm going to say, I'm going to zero that so I don't lose that position. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is slowly feed in with the cross slide and apply oil periodically to clean the chips out. The problem, or a lot of the issues we run into with parting, is that chips get caught inside that groove and bind. Okay, using oil in the brush helps to keep that flushed out and gives us a cleaner cut and gives us less chance of damaging anything. So again, 90 degrees with the tool, perfectly centered height-wise, 540 RPM on the spindle speed. Oil is ready to go. Everything is locked down, and we will proceed. So oil, and nice and easy. This is not fast. What we want to see when we're cutting here is a consistent chip, like a ribbon, like that. When you get that ribbon established, that is the speed you want to feed this cross slide. You can see me, I'm hand over handing it very slowly. And I'm going to try to get to a point where I can continue to add oil and clear some of those chips out of there. I'm always paying attention to how does the dial feel in my hand. Is it chattery? I'm listening. Does it sound rough while I'm cutting, or is it nice and smooth? Okay. I want to see those chips ejecting from the cut, and when I see them filling in, that's when the brush comes in. When we add more oil, and we try to reestablish that speed, or that feed rate. Real slow. Okay, when you get close, you're going to notice your workpiece start to wobble a little bit. You're going to continue until it falls off, like that. When it falls off, back yourself up, shut yourself off, okay, and retrieve your workpiece. That is probably a little bit warm. Okay, so you can leave it for a second or two, set it off to the side. Okay, but that now has been parted off. Okay, and the last step for us is to reverse this in our collet, face this down to the correct 2.38 inch length, and apply that last little chamfer on the end, which you have all seen in previous videos. You finish that up, you are all done with your lathe projects. Thanks for watching.